If you're looking for a camera for vlogging, but you're just so overwhelmed with all the choices that you may have, in this video I'm going to be sharing with you guys 7 things that you should look for in a vlogging camera. But before we get started, if you're new to the channel, I'm Freely, and I believe that filmmaking should not be difficult, and that anyone can get into filmmaking. My goal is to make videos that are helpful for you guys when you're first starting out, and give you some gear suggestions, and hopefully inspire you to start making your own content. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So these points I'm going to be sharing with you guys aren't hard facts and what you definitely need in a vlogging camera, but are just opinions based on my experiences vlogging. So yeah, just to let you guys know. The first thing you want to consider in a vlogging camera is the frame rates that it can shoot. But if you're not familiar with all the frame rates and what they all do and what the different looks look like, check out Potato Jet's video on frame rates. He did a really good job. I was actually planning on making a frame rate video, but I saw his and I was like he got it. It's basically everything that I was going to explain. But I shoot in 60 frames per second. You also have the option to shoot in 24, 30, but I liked 60 frames because you can have the possibility of slowing down your footage. It kind of smooths out your clips. 24 is more cinematic, but 60 frames, you have a lot of flexibility in being able to slow down your footage, but also the smoothness of it, especially if you have shaky hands like me. The 60 frames is gonna kind of smooth it out, but you'll still need a stabilizer. So yeah, for frame rates, I recommend 60 frames a second at least. You can go 30 frames, but 60 frames is pretty much ideal, or 1080p at 60 frames. So the next thing you can consider in a vlogging camera is the battery life. So my main camera that I vlog on is the Canon M50, and if you know anything about the Canon M50 or you've seen it, the battery life on here is not that great. It's rated at 235 shots per battery, and that's pretty bad. On a recent trip to Japan, I was going through all 3 of my batteries by right around afternoon time, so around 3 or 4 o'clock. So yeah, I highly recommend finding one with really good battery life, because you don't want to be vlogging, it's this really sick vlog, but then like you're out of battery by halfway through the day and you have to resort to using your phone. That's just not that great. So the next thing you can consider about a vlogging camera is the size. Now the size is actually pretty important because there's small, medium, and large cameras. Small being like the Canon G7X, or like even a GoPro Hero 7 or the Hero 8. Medium ones can be like the Canon M50 or any of the mid-sized cameras, and the large ones can be like your Canon 80D, 70D, 1DX. So there's pros and cons with each size that you go for. Small being that since it's so small and therefore light, it's more prone to shake, but there are some cameras that have really good stabilization on those really tiny cameras. So you can totally disregard if the smaller cameras have good stabilization. The larger cameras, of course, they're going to be larger and heavier. That's a con about large cameras. And the medium-sized cameras tend to be a lot of mirrorless cameras. And the thing with mirrorless cameras, if you want to buy a certain lens for your mirrorless camera, it's going to be quite expensive because there's not a lot of native mirrorless lenses out, and you're probably gonna have to dish out an extra probably like $300 to $500 just on the lens. But you can use camera adapters, which take your old DSLR lens and you can put it on top of your mirrorless camera. So that's a way to remedy that. But all of these have their pros and cons. I sit right in the middle, in the medium range, just because not too big, but it's also not too small. It's just right in the middle. I like portability, and I just like having a small form factor, but not too small that fits into my pocket. I still enjoy having like a grip on the camera. A lot of what turns me off about smaller cameras is that they tend to be really small and it's harder to hold. So yeah, size, just think about the different sizes of cameras you can get. So the next thing is going to be autofocus, and this is pretty important because you always want to be in focus when you're talking to the camera. I don't know if you've seen some vlog, the person's talking to the camera and then their just face is out of focus and it's on something behind them, or it's like on a totally different spot. It's just kind of irritating. You get kind of frustrated. You don't want your viewers to be experiencing that, so you want to find a camera with good autofocus. Canon has really great. Dual pixel autofocus, and I know that Sony has been catching up a little bit with their autofocus, but shop around, look at other camera manufacturers autofocus. Check out the autofocus test. I did one between the Canon M50 and the Canon M6. If you guys are interested in that, it's on my channel or on the card. But yeah, just shop around and try to get a camera that has really good autofocus, because you don't want to be staring at a blurry image of yourself. The next thing is going to be a mic input. So this is super important, because one of the main things with vlogging is that you want to be able to hear yourself, right? And audio is just as important as video in this case, because if you have this really sick background with like a Machu Picchu in the background and you're talking to the camera and all you hear is this, right? Yes. Just that really ugly wind sound, no one's gonna watch it. And I look back at my old vlogs where I didn't use a mic, and even frankly for this latest Japan vlog, I didn't bring a mic, and that's the worst decision I made on that trip. It's just really irritating when you can't hear the person that's talking. So try to find a camera that has a mic input, but also a hot shoe mount on top where you can mount a external mic on top for great audio. If you already have an external mic and it's giving you this weird white noise or this hiss whenever you're recording, check out my video in the card above, and I teach you guys how to remove that. If you're getting value from this video so far, make sure to hit the like button, but let's get back into it. So the next thing you have to consider when you're looking for a vlogging camera is the flip screen. Now this is not like a must-have, because I know that some people are able to vlog on their cell phones or on screens like the GoPro, where it doesn't have a flippy screen, but it's very helpful. So when you're vlogging, you always want to keep yourself in the frame, so you don't want to be too close to the camera, but you also don't want to be too far. And being able to frame yourself when you're holding the camera is just super helpful. And even if you're not vlogging, if you're doing like a video just like this and you have to frame yourself up and you're just like a one-man team, that flippy screen is super helpful, because you don't have to be setting up the camera just like this, you know, having to go around the camera, look at yourself, and then go back and pre-position everything. When you have a screen just like that, where I'm looking at it right now, it just helps immensely. I feel like it should be a standard in all cameras to have a flippy screen, because it just makes workflow and being able to create content so much easier. So there's one more thing I gotta mention about the flippy screen. So I have the Canon M50 and the screen flips out to the side, but there are other cameras out there where the screen flips up to the top, screen flips up to the bottom, or even the screen just tilts, like it doesn't come full like 180 around. I recommend getting the camera that has this flippy screen that comes out from the side, because when it comes up on top, you block the ability of having an external mic. You don't want to get the ones that flip to the bottom, because it just ruins the ability of ever placing your camera on top a tripod, kind of like what I'm doing right now. But I just definitely recommend, if you guys are gonna get a flip screen, get one that comes to the side. So the next point is going to be stabilization, and this is pretty self-explanatory. If you have like a really shaky video and a really shaky hand, people are gonna get sick, they're gonna start throwing up, and you don't want people throwing up while they're watching your video, because they're gonna get it on their phone and you're gonna have to clean up their phone, and it's kind of gross, right? But all joking aside, yeah, you want to have stable video, because all the professional videographers out there, and even like movies and commercials, they never have shaky video. So that's kind of like a very big sign that you're a little bit of an amateur, is when it's shaky. I'm completely guilty of this, and my entire Japan vlog, you can see all kinds of shaky, so I'm still amateur when it comes to vlogging. But you want to have the most stable footage possible. Try to find a camera that has really good in-body stabilization. Another tip would be to vlog with a tripod, like a Gorilla Pod or something. It tends to make your clips a lot more smoother, just because you have like an anchor point. Another option would be to film with a gimbal, and I'm actually thinking of getting a gimbal soon, so keep a lookout for that. But yeah, stabilization, super important. I actually have one extra bonus tip for you guys, but before I share it, make sure to hit that like button if you guys are getting some value from this video. It really helps out my channel to get my videos out there to more people so they can learn all these great tips. But without further ado, The last tip I got for you guys would be versatility. So what I mean by versatility is, out of all the cameras that you're considering and all the ones that tick off the most boxes for your needs, how versatile is it? Can it take really nice photos? Is the lens interchangeable? Is it compatible with all kinds of different lenses? Is the camera waterproof? Does it have a viewfinder? Because frankly, that's pretty important. You know, all those little things. So try to think in future terms. If you're gonna be dishing out $500 to $1,000 on a camera, you want to make sure that this camera is going to last you for quite a while, and you're not going to be wishing like, oh, I wish I had that camera because I kind of want to get into photos now and that one takes some great photos. So just think about the versatility of the thing that you're going to buy, because you're going to be spending quite a bit of money depending on which camera you're going to get. So all 8 of these things are things that you should be considering when you're buying a vlogging camera. All these points that I wrote down are all intended to help you make a better video. But even if you get the most perfect camera, you also have to focus on your storytelling, because you could have the greatest video in the world, but if it has no story, then nobody's really going to watch it. So take all of these things to look for in a vlogging camera, but more importantly, work on your storytelling to be able to tell a compelling and cohesive story through your filmmaking. So if you want me to give like a general suggestion of what vlogging camera you should get, this is obviously going to be very biased, but I suggest that you get the Canon EOS M50. I think it's just a really great all-around cameras, and for me it ticked off all the boxes that I mentioned today. So yeah, the Canon M50 is a great choice, and if you're considering on buying it, check the link down in the description below to check it out. So what are some things that you consider when you're planning on buying a vlogging camera, or just any camera in general? Leave them down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Did you guys know that I have a all about cameras playlist on this channel? Well, now you do. So I have this all about cameras playlist on my channel, and basically it's just everything all about cameras, all the camera tutorials and all the reviews and comparisons I've ever did. So check out that playlist for more camera tutorials, and if you're interested in more camera content from me, it's all in that playlist. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like this video if you found it helpful, and share it with someone who might also need this video. Don't forget to check out the Japan vlogs, and if you guys are interested, I'll be making a video on all the things not to do when vlogging, because I learned a lot of things, and I've been doing vlogging for a long time, and I just found certain things that I did on our trip there that I would not recommend anyone else doing. So if you guys want that video, let me know. I'll probably make it regardless because I just need content for this channel, guys. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Check out the playlist, like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you haven't already. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you later. Bye.